Bad news for American drivers. The price of oil jumped 14% this week, the biggest one-week percentage increase in 2 years. The rise is fueled by the unrest in the Middle East, particularly in Libya, where today, amidst more violence, the United States evacuated its citizens and temporarily closed its embassy. The White House says the Libyan president Muammar Gaddafi's credibility is, quote, reduced to zero. Chris Bury is in Chicago.
The bloody turmoil in Libya and the fear of more trouble in other oil-rich nations is sending shockwaves from the Mideast to the Midwest. They're reverberating right here in Highland, Indiana.
What happens in the Mideast has a direct impact.
I believe so.
It just keeps going up all the time.
Here at the Thornton station, we met up with Patrick DeHaan, a top analyst for the website GasBuddy.com. Its spotters scattered around North America log in real-time data on tens of thousands of gas stations.
So here in Highland, Indiana, what are you seeing?
Prices up to $3.23 just a couple days ago. They were just north of $3. We're seeing almost 20-cent increase here in Indiana.
And what they found this week across the country is remarkable.
U.S. average up a dime in the last week itself. So as we can see here, prices rising very sharply.
What's happening in Libya is sending oil prices through the roof. The former head of Shell Oil tells us prices are heading even higher.
$5 as we get close to the election in 2012.
If anything, the $5 could be accelerated because oil hates turmoil. You know, we're not going to change the demand. The demand for oil is constant every day. What we could see is interruptions in the supply side.
As we headed west on US 41, we pulled into a pilot gas station and truck stop near the Illinois border. Margaret Leonovitz was filling up her rig with diesel fuel.
Today I prepaid for $600.
$600?
Yeah, it's a lot of money.
That's 2 tank fulls?
Not full, not full. I just prepaid for $600.
While we were there, the price jumped 4 cents a gallon, from $3.35 to $3.39.
You have to pay. There is nothing you can do.
Along the way, we passed the giant oil refineries in northern Indiana that supply gasoline, diesel, heating oil, and jet fuel to much of the Midwest. These tanks were filled with oil bought at far lower prices. Even so, we'll pay much more for it at the pump.
Why are prices going up so much if we know that gasoline is stored right next to us over here?
We're seeing a risk premium that's being assessed by traders on Wall Street. That means that gasoline can be sold at the market price, which is rising.
Before the unrest in the Middle East, daily supply and demand were more evenly balanced. 86 million barrels of production, 86 million of consumption. If Libya's share, about 2% of the world's oil supply, goes away, the balance is upset, meaning places like Europe may not have the oil they need and would start competing for supplies. The fear is the unrest could spread to the number 1 and number 3 oil producers. Any slowdown there could send prices into the stratosphere.
It comes as a shock. So the consumer who needs gasoline has to buy it, pays more for it, but doesn't have increased income to do it.
As we crossed the bridge that took us from Indiana into Illinois, gas prices changed in an instant.
Gas prices just went up.
That's right, just as simple as that. We're into Illinois.
Check out this map showing the amazing difference in prices reported by GasBuddy across the country. Top prices in the lower 48 states, $4.79 at a Suncoast in Orlando, Florida. $4.51 at this Mobile station in West Covina, California, near L.A.
I had to double check because I was like, is it $3.59 or $4.59 for regular gas?
The lowest price, $2.78 at 2 stations in Douglas, Wyoming. As we made our way through Chicago's South Side, it became clear the higher prices are already causing real pain.
Fill it up with a little liquid gold. See what $9 is going to do for me. 2.5 gallons.
In places where the economy has never recovered.
It's becoming a choice basically between either eating or buying gas.
The latest spike comes after a steady rise since we began climbing out of the recession. And where is gas going?
By Memorial Day, if the situation is still developing in the Middle East, we could be looking at prices just under $4.25 a gallon. That would mean parts of the country could flirt with $5 a gallon gas.
All day long, we asked drivers what price would shock them into driving less.
If it hits that $5 mark.
$5 a gallon.
$5 is the number.
Yeah, and that's terrifying.
As we made our way to the heart of the big city, the prices were still climbing. When we bid farewell to the man from GasBuddy.com, he was filling up for the long drive back to his home in Michigan.
And what is the man from Gas Buddy paying here?
$3.79 a gallon.
Too high for you?
Much too high, much too high.
I'm Chris Bury for Nightline in Chicago.